It's been 3 years. 3 years of the Taliban takeover in Afghanistan. It happened in 2021, the Battle of Kabul, when the Taliban entered the Afghan capital and the US-backed government collapsed. The same Taliban have completed 3 years in power and they're celebrating with a grand military parade. Take a look. That parade took place near Kabul yesterday at the Bagram Air Base. This was the largest US military base in Afghanistan. It used to be their base of operations, the center of their efforts to oust the Taliban. But now, the same Taliban are using the base and all the equipment left behind. Let's take stock of some of it. Those are all-terrain vehicles, or ATVs, perfect for Afghanistan's rough landscape. The Taliban will be able to use them all over the country. Then you have M1117 armored security vehicles, perfect for transporting troops safely. These are old Humvees with what looks like a Soviet-era anti-aircraft gun attached. And the Taliban don't just have old-school Humvees, they also have the modern ones, which they also flaunted at Bagram. Then there are the bigger prizes, like the MRAPs, mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicles, in case the Taliban need to go to an area littered with mines. Then there are the tanks. The Taliban now has an assortment, and they were all on display, but their biggest prize was not seen on the tarmac. It was up in the air, the Black Hawk helicopters. The same helicopters that were once used to hunt them down, the Taliban are now flying them. So you can see why they're jubilant.
We give thanks for this blessing. We know its value when we think about the past situations through which hardships and pains we achieved this freedom.
The Taliban call it freedom. In 2021, they kicked out the Western occupying force and took away all the equipment you just saw. Most of it was American, but look closely and you'll spot some other nations too. That armored vehicle has a Danish flag on it. It was roaming the streets of Kabul, where Taliban fighters were out in full force, riding their bikes and waving their white flag. That is the Taliban's flag, their mark of control over Afghanistan. What you've been watching is the aftermath of the Western retreat from Afghanistan. From the year 2001 to 2021, the US and its allies were in Afghanistan. They defeated the first Taliban regime and proceeded to install a friendly government in its place. The West bombed the Taliban to oblivion and back, ignoring the number of innocent civilians caught in the explosions. And as a result, they helped the same Taliban regroup. The Taliban took advantage of the West's unpopularity. They recruited people who hated American bombs, and they built up a new army. Meanwhile, the US began to see Afghanistan as a never-ending war, so they decided to leave. In 2020, Donald Trump negotiated a withdrawal with the Taliban, and Joe Biden followed through with it the following year. The West-backed government in Kabul was left to fend for itself, and it collapsed in days. The fall was in fact so fast that even the West was caught unawares. American troops could barely get out in time, and they definitely did not have enough time to pack up their equipment, which is what you saw at the beginning. All the Western weapons left behind as spoils of war for the Taliban. What was the result of all this? Of the billions squandered on this equipment, of the thousands of lives lost, what did the West really achieve here? Afghanistan seems to be in a worse place than ever. The country is reeling from poverty. About half the population needs aid to survive. Women's rights are non-existent. They have systematically been barred from all public life, and women cannot get any education after the age of 12. Meanwhile, the Taliban are better equipped than ever before. They're running around in Humvees and Black Hawks. So I ask again, what did the West achieve with its 20-year-long Afghan war? The US and its allies should reflect on this, think about the horror they wrought, and hang their heads in shame.
Across continents, one powerful news source.
Bringing you diverse perspectives on the issues that matter.
We go beyond the boundaries to give you that little extra about every sporting moment.
So thank you for making Firstpost 5 million strong. We're counting on your support, and you can trust us to bring you the news unfiltered and unvarnished.
Climate change is on our doorstep. It's time for a revolution to take root. And it starts with 1.4 billion Indians. It starts with one tree for humanity, one tree for Mother Earth, one tree for our future. Project One Tree, a News 18 network initiative.
On this today, the T20 World Cup Vantage has moved across to the West Indies. What can we expect